The opening presentation will be by Theodore Asampon, who's the Managing Director for WAPS. Can we put our hands together for him as he approaches the podium? Come on, let's encourage him, please.
Okay, thank you, Hilary. So, good afternoon once again. This is a session that I usually don't like, the one after break and lunch. The room is a little bit sparse, but I'm happy to see actually quite a number here. Thank you for making it back. Honorable Minister of Communication, Digital Technology and Innovation, you're recognized. Actually, I have a correction to make. I saw on the screen that it says I'm the MD of West African. It's West Africa without the N. It's West Africa Platform Services. Thank you. Okay, where's the presentation? Can I have my presentation, please? So I looked at the theme for the panel, and I thought it would be a good idea to go into the technology trends shaping broadcasting in Ghana and Africa. All right, great. It's here. Thank you. Good. So we have come from a world where everything used to be analog, and until I think 2016 or so, when the ITU decided that we need to move to digital, everything was analog. But then it's moved so fast since then. I mean, there's now digital media coming in, disrupting the space. But we have to take this opportunity and seize the moment in this new media era. And this is what I'm going to talk about, how we can do that. But before I do that, I'm going to go into some trends. So the shifting landscapes. Okay, in fact, I'm using my laptop, but I forgot that I have the pointer here. The shifting landscape is made up of two revolutions. There's a digital migration, which we've all heard about. This is the move from analog to digital transmission. We have to make a final push to make this happen. Since morning, everyone has talked about the digital migration. In fact, the Honorable Minister would agree with me, Ghana has actually migrated because the DTT system works in Ghana. However, and correct me if I'm wrong, there hasn't been the analog switch off. We don't know why that is. But I know that every broadcaster in this country is using digital migration, or the DTT, or maybe DTH. So where is the final push? We need that final push. Then there's the internet revolution. We've heard already about what is happening. Now there are phrases like mobile first and digital only. This is because more content is going online. And the result is indeed a dynamic but competitive and fragmented media environment where traditional models are being challenged. So what is the first trend? Is the unstoppable rise of OTT. The audience is moving online. We've heard about it. Gradually, content delivery over the internet is no longer a niche, as you see, but a mainstream viewing habit. The key drivers are smartphones. There are smartphones everywhere now. I think over 60% of Ghanaians have smartphones, if I'm not mistaken. And there are many players. I've just mentioned some of the popular ones here. There's Netflix, there's YouTube, and of course we have local heroes like Showmax and other local OTT providers. So the strategic shift is that traditional broadcasters must adopt a digital first mindset. And I'll come to that. This means developing apps, on media libraries, video on demand, and live streaming capabilities. And the technology that we have to watch is efficient video codecs to squeeze the bandwidth down so that we don't have to pay so much for data when we are streaming these content. And of course, developing content delivery networks. I'll come to that as well. The second trend is that 5G is here. Mobile is king, whether we like it or not. Today's reality is that content is now being optimized for mobile. I'm into photography and I like shooting videos. I used to like shooting videos in landscape. I'll turn my phone around and I'll be shooting it. But more and more you see that video is becoming more vertical to suit the handsets. And there's a new trend. And they're becoming heavier as well. So 5G must come. We have companies in Ghana who are ready to deploy 5G. 5G will give us ultra HD streaming without buffering. It will be more reliable, it will have high quality live streaming, and there will be more new immersive experiences, augmented reality, virtual reality. The third trend is hybrid, the best of both worlds. Now what is it? We know about DTT. We also know about DTH. I haven't mentioned that. DTH is direct to home satellite. That's the area I focus in. But DTH has always been around from time immemorial. Analog has been DTH before. Now digital is also DTH. Those of you who watch multi-TV at home, we are the engines behind that. And over 70% of homes in Ghana actually consume their content via DTH. However, we can combine the two, the DTH, DTT, and OTT in one, in a hybrid world, so that you don't miss out on the digital first or digital only content whilst you keep up with your traditional broadcasting content as well. So there are key devices coming in. I was at IBC last 2 weeks. IBC is the International Broadcasters Conference held in Amsterdam every year. And the buzz was about DVBI. This is a set-top box that allows you to combine DTH, DTT, and OTT. So streaming and DTH and DTT are coming together. They're marrying. This is a trend that is coming. We can't run from it. And the benefit will be for you to be able to consume this content wherever you are, home or on the road. And what is the fourth trend? AI. We've heard it mentioned. His Excellency mentioned it. Artificial intelligence. Working smarter, not harder. I know that some of our broadcasters here are already dabbling into it. Smart productions, automated video editing, content tagging, highlights generation. This has been done by AI. Personalized content, AI-driven recommendations to keep viewers engaged, deeper insights. And of course, they have dubbing, audio dubbing, now has been done by AI. So if you're not using AI, you're being left behind. So what are we to pay attention to? What are the key takeaways? To succeed, we must adapt to new realities. We must embrace a multi-platform strategy. Our content must be available linear TV, which is the DTH and the DTT, on mobile, which is the OTT, on demand, which means we have to prepare content for people who wants to watch it whenever they want to watch it. Somebody was talking about Benavle's point of view being shown at 9 p.m. and that you might not be ready to watch it. After 9 p.m., you can go home at 11 and have it on demand and still be able to watch that and not miss it. And that is what the online distribution is going to bring, the OTT. We have to prioritize local content. In fact, I have not heard much about local content today. But local content is key. Local content is king. If we are going to make money as broadcasters, we have to rethink local content. Some of the top channels in Ghana are those channels that are actually in local language. I'm not going to mention names, but if you look at the measurements that we have, at least that's the ones that we can trust, some of these channels are in the top 5. They're speaking in Twi and other languages, local content. I remember when one network dubbed foreign content in Twi, it became so popular. People want their content everywhere, anywhere, but also local. Okay. We have to solve the data problem. And I'll show you some slides later on why that is key. We want to go online. Content is moving online, but we're struggling to get there because the data is not easily available or affordable. Maybe available, but not affordable. We also have to rethink monetization. I heard a few people talking about it. Look, there are over 180 TV channels in this country and 700 radio channels, and somebody's asking the question, there are too many, and what are we going to do about it? I believe competition will be the answer. However, we are not able to compete fairly because we don't have the audience measurement statistics to do that. And advertisers are struggling to find where they put their content. Now, if we moved in that direction where we can have proper digital audience analytics, you find that the best creators of content and broadcasters will win and the rest will fall away, and that will solve the problem by itself. I mean, the NCA doesn't have to tell you we can't give you a license because they can't do that. You get the license, but you have to compete. You have to produce good content. But the people who measure whether your program is good enough, we don't have them. We don't have recency. We have some companies giving data every month, but we need data that comes every minute, every hour, every day. And that is what will help us with this plethora of broadcasters. But wait a minute, traditional TV continues to be relevant. Yes, of course, due to the data problem. So I want to give us some statistics here. I picked this up from a company called Data Access. What they say is that currently 5 to 6% of homes in Africa, homes, not people, by the way. When we distribution bodies talk, we talk about homes. We don't talk about individuals. We talk about TV homes. 5 to 6% of all homes in Africa subscribe to OTT. And this is growing very slowly, 2% every month. My son is calling me. Oh, gosh. I should switch off the internet. Yeah, technology. Sometimes it's not all that. Okay, here we go. All right. But that doesn't mean that there are no demand for OTT. There is demand for OTT. I mean, the reason why only 5 to 6% of homes subscribe to OTT is because only about 10% of homes actually have access to fixed broadband at home. We'll come to the mobile in a minute, but we're talking about home now, where people still like to consume content. I mean, we all get home at some point and usually want to sit down and watch TV. And this is the problem, only 10%. And this is growing very slowly by 15%. So when you look at the number of homes with fixed access to broadband, you can see that the demand is there because over 50% of these homes subscribe to OTT. So can you imagine if we had 60, 70% of homes with fixed, reliable broadband access? That number will be considerably higher. So the demand is there. So broadcasters, beware. This is where we need to go. Yeah, I made that mistake again. So this is the 5 to 6% of homes and there's a 10% that have fixed broadband at home. And from that 10%, 50% of those are connected. This is why I'm saying that the demand is there for OTT. But we also know that mobile penetration is very high in Africa. So high that currently more than 70% of African population, now we're talking about, when we talk about mobile, we now talk about people, population, have access to smartphones with broadband access and are consuming data. So this is why we're seeing people consuming more and more of their content on their mobile phones. However, if they had fixed broadbands at home, they'll be at home watching as well. So all that we're saying is that the online, digital-first, digital-only content is here. People want to have it. It's just the barriers as far as data is what is holding them back. So how are people consuming media in Africa if only 5% to 6% are connected online at home and the rest are on mobile? So at home, what are we doing? This is what's happening. You can see the trend. You see there's DTH, free-to-air, there's DTH pay, there's other pay TV, there's other free-to-air, and so on. So the other free-to-air is mostly DTT. The trend here shows that DTH with the satellite, by the way, free-to-air, is growing gradually. And DTT is, also growing, but it's a bit flat. But it's not the people's fault, because the DTT in Africa is not developed as DTH. Most African countries have still not switched from analog to digital. In fact, I think Ghana and only maybe 5 or 6 other countries have a full nationwide digital coverage. The rest don't. And this is why satellite seems to have a high peak. So satellite continues to lead the growth in Africa, whether we like it or not. But what is the situation in Ghana? In Ghana, it's the same. From this data from one of our partners, SES, over 70% of homes consume their media via satellite, or at least satellite is their primary mode of consumption. That's what this data is saying. And out of all these satellite homes, our platform, the one we run at WAPS, are in 9 out of 10 homes of satellites. And 26% of homes, now roughly 30%, are on DTT. OTT is creeping up slightly at 3%, so OTT is coming. Let me go back. So with that, what can KNET and WAPS do with you, the broadcasters, to embrace the future? So here is where I do a little bit of a sales pitch to talk about WAPS and KNET. After all, we are the sponsors of this event. So indulge us. I'll start with WAPS. West Africa Platform Services is a 100% subsidiary of KNET. KNET has been existing since 1996, and when I'm here on the shoulders of the chairman, Mr. Homado. WAPS is an independent English language TV platform that currently houses over 120 TV channels, some of them from outside the territory. And we reach almost 5 million homes in Ghana. Out of the 7 million homes, we reach almost 5 million. This is our footprint. It's on a satellite called Astra 2F by a satellite company called SES. And again, we are the engine behind the multi-TV platform. Our channels are licensed by the NCA, as you can see there. Some of them are on the bouquet license, because you saw that there are 70 operational, but there are bouquet licenses as well. They didn't mention bouquet licenses, but there are bouquet licenses as well. Okay. So this is what we offer. As a broadcaster, we take your content, we receive that content by various means, and we manage that content. We can encrypt it, we can do some content checks, we can have remote playouts, uplink it, and you can receive it at home as DTH. And very soon, we'll be introducing OTT as well. What we want to do is we want to make sure that our broadcaster partners does not mix the online audience. So we are introducing OTT for our broadcasters. And eventually we can combine the two, or we will combine the two on a DVB-I hybrid box so that you can consume by satellite as well as via online. And as I mentioned before, we are a KNET company. And what does KNET do? I mentioned KNET being set up since 1996, 100% old Ghanaian company, heavily invested in the state-of-the-art infrastructure. In fact, the teleport that we use to uplink these services is the best in West Africa today. And satellite companies, national satellite companies, partner with KNET to help them uplink to their satellites. The whole of West Africa, KNET is the one they choose. These are some of the partners that KNET work with. A huge list of technology communication companies. So what does KNET do? What do we build? We have the teleport, which is for satellite uplinks and monitoring. We have the broadcasting, which WAPS is championing. We have rural telephony. KNET is the first company that introduced rural telephony in this country, making it possible for rural areas to receive their mobile network. We run network service platforms, ISPs, VSATs. We also operate IoTs, Internet of Things, and we have a solar power system unit that ensures that broadcasters can have power via solar. The DTT sites are using solar, or some of them at least. So when it comes to broadcasting, we are the one-stop shop for your broadcasting needs in Ghana. So come to KNET and WAPS, and we can deliver your content anywhere in Ghana and throughout the world. So finally, and I was happy that Hilary mentioned this, that the future is bright. The future is bright for the bold. The technology shifts in African broadcasting are not threats, but immense opportunities. So by embracing the innovation, focusing on local audience needs, as I mentioned, and adopting agile strategies, broadcasters in Ghana and across the continent can not only survive, but thrive, defining the next chapter of African media. Thank you very much.